All right, what's up, guys and girls? How's it going? I am Is There No One Else, and the video I'm bringing you today is going to be my Scalebreaker review. I'm going to try and be as in-depth as possible, and I'm going to try and break this down for one reason. We're going to try and rate Scalebreaker as far as like how it goes compares to other patches, but I'm going to break it up into two things. I'm going to break it up into balance, and I'm going to break it up into performance. Because honestly, guys, last patch, as far as balance is concerned, Elsewhere was one of the most balanced patches that I have experienced. I was able to 1vx on just about every class I played on. I felt like, although some classes and builds were weaker, they weren't just completely unplayable. And however, Elsewhere was, one of the worst patches because performance was so bad. We lost a lot of players. The Bash Ultimate was out. Honestly, we lost a huge majority of a big chunk of our population due to performance issues. And so I don't want to harp too much and say that it's a bad patch because of this reason. I want to try and break them up and then evaluate them from there. And so we're going to first talk about performance, and then we're going to go into balance. But before that, the clips you're going to see in this video take no skill. I hit 3 abilities, and then I watch their health tick away. And, the build's already on my channel. You guys can go look it up. It's for Scalebreaker. It's stupid. But with that being said, guys, let's dive into it. Performance, honestly, it's worse than Elsewhere. And so I don't think we really need to say more than that. If you've been playing Scalebreaker, you know that health desyncs are terrible. Lag is terrible. I can't weapon swap sometimes. Sometimes my character gets stuck in animation where I can't weapon swap, and I have to log out and I have to log back in. I can't dodge roll. I end up jumping and blocking quite a bit. I can't heal because, skills aren't working. We now have animation bugs with forward momentum, where forward momentum isn't showing that it's working properly. And so you're hitting the button, but it doesn't show it. And so then you're hitting the skill and you're draining stamina. All these are huge issues. And, I've died so many times from health desyncs where I was at full health. I drop over dead thinking I got hit by 2 or 3 snipes. And it was just a bunch of dots on my bar and I didn't see that my health was going down. And that's the way the game currently is right now. I've been playing this game since it came out on Xbox, which is 4 years now, and I have never experienced a patch this bad as far as performance goes. Now, as far as balance goes, we were very close. Last patch was a very balanced patch. Obviously, pet orcs were stronger. You could be a very, very tanky, hard to kill Magic and Nightblade. There were some very strong classes and builds last patch in open world PvP that were overperforming. Bash builds, all this stuff. So, however, like I said, we were a few adjustments away, I think, from balancing that out. However, the problem is I understand why they did some of the things they did because, we have been in a tank meta essentially since 1 Tamriel. Everybody's been very tanky. It's been very tough to kill, and it's fun to get away from it. And so they increased the ability to kill people has been tremendous this patch. As you guys can see, I'm just killing people very, very quickly. It is nice that they upped. They increased the ability to burst people down. I love the fact that they increased the damage over time effects. Obviously, the damage over time effects are too strong. You guys are watching this, I don't even have to use a spammable on most of these kills. I'm just dotting people up. And some of this is, this is the first week of Scalebreaker. People haven't fully adjusted yet. And so dots are going to be more effective versus them than versus, somebody a week, 2 weeks later. But that's the way it currently is. And, I think it's lazy gameplay. I think in general, this entire patch, when they went through, if you guys watch this, I did a very in-depth review covering the patch notes, covering gear, covering skills, covering abilities, and honestly, dots in general, they bypassed their performance audit. They came out and they said, we went through an audit of all skills and abilities. We're going to do this, this, and this. And so, as an example, guys, Flying Blade, the dual wield skill line, because it is now a gap closer, because it also interrupts, because it also gives you major brutality, they're like, we're going to reduce the damage on this because it's more of a utility skill. We don't want it to be an all-in-one thing where it's too powerful. And so they nerfed the damage on Flying Blade. Heroic Slash, because it gives minor maim, because it gives minor heroism. We're also going to reduce the damage on this because it's a utility skill. We don't want it to be a powerful all-in-one ability. Ransack, because it gives major fracture, we are going to reduce the damage on that, so it's not an all-in-one ability. Entropy bypasses that because it gives you major sorcery. It's a major buff plus a huge damage over time effect, and it's not affected in the same way that Ransack is. You can hit it from 28 meters away. It's more or less undodgeable. You can technically dodge it because there's that impact, but it's not easily dodged. And it's the strongest, most powerful dot in the game that literally every Magicka class is going to try to equip anyways because they want their major sorcery buff. So Entropy bypasses their performance audit. They talked about this patch, as a lot of people are upset about, Incapacitating Strike, Onslaught, and Dawnbreaker all got cast times added to them. And their thought process on this was, hey, we wanted counterplay in PvP. We wanted the ability for players to be able to read and react. And honestly, guys, like, I've been playing with a Stamsork. I've been playing with, my Nightblade. I don't really feel that cast times are too big of a deal. Like, if I CC and then I drop my ult, I hit my ult still. Like, you have to CC somebody in order to use your ult. You can't just do a quick snappy cancel to take them out. And so I'm not really feeling the impact with the ultimates. And so I understand that, like, I've been okay with it. I don't like cast times in general, but I was okay with the change, and I don't really feel like it impacts my ability to play, personally. But they wanted this counterplay. But the problem is dots bypass counterplay, because they're not easily dodged. Some of them are undodgeable. They do a ton of damage, and I don't really need to use a spammable to kill a lot of people. You see in a lot of these quote-unquote fights, I'm just dropping dots on people, and I'm letting Scoria and my dots do the work. And unless they have a purge, unless they're Templars, they really can't react to it. And so you're watching this, and it's like, yes, it is great that dots now do a ton of damage. Like, I actually like the fact that dots do damage. I like that the time to kill is a lot better. However, it's too strong. And, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if they were doing performance audits, every 2 weeks, and they came out and said, hey, you know what? We see that dots are overperforming. We're going to nerf dots in Scalebreaker in PvP by like 30% for now, and then when the next DLC comes out, we're going to go through an overhaul because we know that, quality of life in PvP is not fun. We realize that they're overperforming in this, and this way, and we're going to have an adjustment. And that's never happened before. They're not going to do it anytime in the future, and people are stuck with these dots the way they are. This guy's just eating dots right now. And that's the frustrating part, So now people are looking forward to Borderlands. They're looking forward to other games, because you just can't play this. It's too laggy, and now you've eliminated a huge portion of the skill gap in PvP due to these overperforming dots. Like, with desync, with the dots, it's just too easy to kill people, and there's no counterplay. And so people are dying because they're desynced, they're dying because they can't avoid the dots, they're dying because if you fight against 3 or 4 people and they all hit dots on you, you don't have the ability to mitigate some of the dots that are coming in. And so, I didn't want to play this play style from Magblade because I thought it was going to be, fair or anything. I played it to prove a point. A lot of people are like, oh, dots are fine, everything's okay. I mean, when you guys see this, like, I'm barely using a spammable. I don't even really have to use my Merciless. I actually do have really good damage with this. It just doesn't matter. I just apply the dots. If they purify, I apply the dots again, and they drop over dead. It's just... the burst that potentially you can get with dots now is as bad as one Tamriel without having to wear the proc sets. And so these are my thoughts, guys. I wanted to get your thoughts as well. Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Obviously, this is just my opinion after playing with it for a week. Obviously, I've been playing classes that, aren't Templars, and so I don't have the benefit to the 5 Purge heal. I've been trying to play harder classes to, help you guys out in finding videos and stuff, but, at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is right now, and I don't have to sugarcoat it. I don't have to lie to you guys and tell you like, oh yeah, the game's great, it's perfectly balanced, it's fun. I don't gain anything by saying that. I try to give you guys my honest opinion, and I have no problem with imbalance. I have no problem with the performance. It's just we went from a pretty decent spot in Elsewhere to a pretty bad spot, and it's a huge step back. And although although I understand why the step back kind of needed to happen, them not being able to respond to things, you know, only makes it worse. So that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching, guys. I will try to post, you know, more uplifting stuff in the future, but this is just my honest assessment of this patch. And, you know, if performance keeps going down the hill, I will also be finding other games to play until performance gets better. You know, there's nothing I can do about the game if, you know, they don't want to let me play the game and I'm getting desynced and I'm getting disconnected and I'm lagging out and I can't weapon swap and I can't pop my heals. Like, it's just not fun. So I'm going to play the game while I'm still having fun. But, you know, like I said, if we keep going down this path, I will also be leaving. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.